Welcome back to Uprising. I'm Sonali Kolhatkar. You can now watch Uprising online at our YouTube channel. That's at youtube.com/uprising with Sonali. Please do subscribe. 50,000 gallons of crude oil have spilled into the Yellowstone River near the farming town of Glendive in Montana. It's the second time in 4 years that such a spill has occurred. The spill came from an oil pipeline that goes under the Yellowstone, and in the immediate aftermath of the spill that happened earlier this week, Montana state officials and the Environmental Protection Agency deemed drinking water supplies safe. But then residents complained about the smell of gas, and tests revealed the presence of benzene, a carcinogen, in the water. The state is now trucking in thousands of gallons of bottled water to Glendive's approximately 6,000 residents. Montana Governor Steve Bullock has declared a state of emergency as cleanup crews work navigating the treacherously icy areas of the river. The pipeline is owned and operated by Bridger Pipeline, which has pledged to pay for the cleanup. In July 2011, an ExxonMobil pipeline spilled more than 60,000 gallons of crude into the same river, affecting a different community around the same area. Now, fears abound over the planned Keystone XL pipeline, which, if built, would also cross the Yellowstone River. The House of Representatives has already passed a bill approving the pipeline, and a vote is likely to happen soon in the Senate. President Obama has promised to veto approval. My guest is Alexis Bonogofksy. She's with the National Wildlife Federation and lives near the Yellowstone. She was impacted by the earlier spill in 2011. Alexis, welcome to Uprising.
Thank you.
Well, can you tell us how this spill has impacted communities near where you live directly? It's just been a few days now, and aside from the drinking water issue, how are people's lives being impacted?
Well, the drinking water contamination is probably the most major immediate impact that people have experienced. Right now, because the river is iced over, a lot of the oil is just stuck. It's basically stuck in the river underneath the ice. It's starting to pool in certain areas. So impacts to the land haven't happened yet, but if there's flooding, if the ice breaks up, if there's ice jams and we see flooding, that's when we might see the oil come over the banks, but we won't know. They haven't been able to recover hardly any of the oil because of the ice. And really, like, once the oil is out, the oil is out.
Now, this is not obviously the first time this has happened. Are there folks going, oh gosh, not again? You were impacted personally by the 2011 spill. Can you tell us about that spill?
Yeah, so in July of 2011, I walked down to our hayfields. We have a farm on the Yellowstone River south of Billings, and we had heard that the river was supposed to crest, come over the banks, and I walked down to see if it had that morning. And our pastures, our hayfields they were flooded, and I walked down and there was oil everywhere. We were not evacuated from my farm. We never got a call from anyone. The sheriff didn't come to our house, and so that was the first that we had known about it. It was devastating. I don't know how to describe how awful it was. It was months and months of dealing with, the smell of oil, cleanup workers on our place, water testing, air quality testing, all of these things. And we had to move we raise goats, and we had to move all of the goats basically off of the river into this small pen up by my house. It was awful. And I think people, they get complacent. Like, we had a bunch of media, we had a bunch of people here saying we need safer pipelines, we need to check these pipelines. And then 3.5 years later, it happens again. It's just downstream from me. And they keep saying there's lessons learned, but we don't seem to learn them.